hopefully short video. I'm going to try and tell you everything you need to know about filmmaking, more or less. Let's start with the basics, so camera techniques.
Today we talk about the different types of shots that you can get with your camera.
Good evening. It's Friday, and on Friday, you know what we do here. We get creative on Art in Heart. My name, as always, is Likuyani Eli, and I'm more than happy to bring you this show. And in a few minutes, we'll be joined by Victoria Nkata, the beautiful one, as we propel into this creative session. So, what is the topic of the night? We are talking about light, camera, action. Are you an upcoming filmmaker, or are you an actor for that matter? Or are you just an enthusiast when it comes to creativity in terms of film? Tonight, it's not any different. We bring you the very best in the industry. Let me just say, these are directors that are doing great stuff back in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm proud to be with them on the bench. All the way in Nairobi, we have Mr. Waswa Derek. Good evening, sir, and how are you tonight?
Good evening to you, Eli. I'm very fine. I'm doing great, and I'm very happy, honored to be part of the panel tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and you're welcome. On the other hand, we have the big bazoo himself, Xavier Jerry Nato. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Eli, thank you so much for having us again, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, finally, I hope we can really have this done with. You have extended this period. I don't know what you've been getting as remedies for this, but it's okay. So anybody that is joining, you can follow the link live on Facebook, The Arts in Heart, live on YouTube, The Arts in Heart. Remember to send your comments in the comment section with the hashtag Art in Heart, responding to live and Kenya film industry. Gentlemen, anybody in the industry or is already there, they know too well that once the scripts have been done, the storyboards have been created, and the storyline is well done. It is never a complete story without the performers. And in this case, I'm talking about the cast. So what role do the cast play? But before we do that, allow me to bring in the very able and co-host of the night. She's lovely, the only female in the den, Victoria Nkata.
Hello and good evening.
Hey, madam, you just appear and disappear like you wish, and you come here looking all calm.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Thank you. It's too hot to be having a wig on. Kitchen Achemka, my brain has been boiling. So we had to let it stay because it's too hot. But I hope everybody is doing well. I've missed you. Yani tumezoeana sana mpaka nimeanza kuwamiss, imagine. Derek,
That's
how are
Much
you?
missed, yeah. I'm fine, thank you, and I'm doing great. How about you?
I am great. I am great. How are you, Xavier?
doing great, thank you. Hope you're doing well.
Sasa
Last time,
coming,
Pachakomgon.
I am doing well. I am doing better. The allergies are not acting up, so hopefully we'll be doing well. I got some meds, so thank God. So they have been behaving. They have been behaving, but it doesn't put an elephant like me down. Unajua, baridi ya siku moja haiwezi eka ndovu chini. I'm an
True.
elephant in
Wewe
my
ni
own
ndovu.
right.
Wewe ni
Kabisa,
ndovu.
please. Please, in my power, in my power, mimi ni ndovu. Kimwili, hapo.
Ellie, stop
Yes.
addressing the elephant in the room.
Okay, fine. Let's address the question in the room. Gentlemen, let's get straight into this, the art of film. What do directors look out for when you're casting? Because cast makes part and parcel of the film or the stage play. So what do you look for, and what role do these people actually play in the film creation?
Well, if I
Maybe I would.
sure, go on, Derek.
All right. Glad that we all wanted to do the answer. The first thing that a director will look at is something called a cast description or a character quality, or something called a character description. Generally, it's referred to as a role. So roles are based on the imaginations and the whole write-up that the script writer had in mind in terms of realizing the actual script on screen. And this involves the character qualities, traits, and the environment, which sums up to probably the ages, traits, beliefs, reactions and actions, and probably even physical appearance that are required to specifically fit in specific roles. So that is the first thing that directors will go for. Two, which is very important also, is the availability of the character that they depicted on the script. You may be all that they needed, but you're unavailable. So that is not the person they needed. They needed somebody who is available for that task.
I'm wondering if Xavier is available, because that's an interesting part. Xavier, have you been in a situation that you are casting and your cast is not available? Yes, they have all the looks, especially someone like Victoria. She comes in, she has the heart of an elephant, and she stamps so much authority, but she's not available. What do you do with such?
The presence of an art.
Okay, well, Derek has said most of the stuff that someone wants to look for. And when it comes to availability, if you remember last time we addressed something to do with discipline, like when you're going, like I want to do my play, then early you turn up for the auditions and then you come out as the best among those people. And I'm shooting from Monday to Friday. I'm doing my rehearsals from every evening, like in the week. So when you're not available, again, it begs the question, like, why did you come for the rehearsals in the first place? Because it is misleading. Because after you've been chosen, you're usually given something called a schedule, So your availability should be made clear from the word go. Like, you've been chosen, you're going to work this role. You've come for the auditions and we've selected you to do this part, and we are going to be shooting from tomorrow, next week to next month, and you have to tell the person who's doing that as early as possible that you're not available. But the problem is most of us, and I'm sorry to say so, do not have that discipline whereby you can tell someone that you're not available. And this is because you really want that role and you feel like probably the schedule of this particular production will favor you, whereby you'll now go to the director and tell the producer or the assistant director and tell them that can I be shooting on Saturdays? It messes the whole program, and probably you're a lead role. So again, discipline comes in very handy at that point. If you're not available, just say you're not available. Probably you can go for the lesser scenes that do not demand your presence on set or on stage.
But something that Waswa earlier mentioned, and I would like us to go back into that, is the fact to do with the looks. And forgive me, but there's a very consistent style of casting people from different regions in our country for specific roles. Does this in any way tend to stereotype them, or is it because you've been created to be watchmen? Derek?
Basically, stereotypes are there they're existent, and they dwell with us, and to a level, they create a level of believability, which eases up most of the director's work in terms of having to recreate and create believability. For instance, it would be very easy in Kenya, should you be casting for a TV program, and you get somebody from a particular region and cast them as a watchman with a particular accent. It's already cast on stone that people will automatically believe that that is a watchman because of the experience. Experience create the culture.
Hi, Ellie. Yes, go on, Derek.
Experience creates culture. And
what is happening here?
No, because
Victoria just hide me in the middle of a description.
Yeah, I just hide you because you're the people who are casted for certain roles because you're the Nisawa. Tendelek has it, Derek. Let us continue. Let us continue. But Ellie will be casted as one in a suit, the first one in a suit. Continue, Mr. Derek.
Yes. So specifically, what I was talking about is, should you, for instance, and it exceeds up to location wise. If you want to show a posh area, people will really rush to, in Kenya, go and shoot in Runda, Kileleshwa, Muthaiga. And when you want to show a place that is slum area, people will go to Kibera and Madare and such stuff. The same thing applies to casting, which I don't believe is the right technique to use. I believe is the easiest way out of a problem. Though that is specifically what happens. If you need a character for a watchman, for instance, it will very easily get you to a particular region with a particular accent, though it's the easiest way out. Should you want somebody who looks like a broker or a conman, or it will take you to a particular region very easily, and automatically people will believe that this is the actual truth in Kenya. Though in my belief, I tend to think that these stereotypes have passed a test of time, and we need to do away with them, because as we speak with the current mobile digital kind of content, it is quite unfortunate, but very few people will relate to specific stereotypical kind of roles awarded to such people. And if you realize, in the Kenyan scenario as we speak, we are trying to get away from the accents and those sorts of stereotypic kind of acting, because in my view are something of the past. So it is very easy. It is a way out very easily. You can depict a watchman when you get somebody from a Malemba than to get somebody from Coast, and it works out for you. If you want to get somebody, for instance, who just depicts some level of entrepreneurship, I would go into maybe the extents of people focusing on actors from Luo Nyanza and depicting them as specifically well-learned and maybe sophisticated people in terms of jargon and ideology, just powerful as words being said. And it's like that. You would find that it is very easy to cast somebody from the eastern region and depict them as Muchawi or Mutua, and it works out. But it's the easiest way out for you. Though it's not
Wait,
the
Mr.
best.
Derek,
This
Mr.
way
Derek, I
of,
have
you
a
know,
question. I have a question
yes,
because
feel
we
free,
were
feel free.
together. We were together until the parts that you said an entrepreneur comes from the western area, or rather the Nyanza area. That is not
No, no,
true.
no.
We
I didn't
know
say
the
entrepreneur.
Kiambulis. You
I
said
didn't say entrepreneur.
entrepreneur.
You got,
Vicky
You
didn't
said
follow the
entrepreneur.
conversation.
you got me wrong.
You
Yes,
lost
I
it.
did.
You
Yes,
lost the
I did.
conversation.
No. Wait. I was like, no. But you
You
see now,
got me
you
wrong.
said
He intentionally
no,
left it
no.
out. He intentionally left it out
Entrepreneur,
and
I
went
didn't
and
mention.
said, men, the people that will come with very serious jargons, you know,
No,
Jargon
that
is
was
well,
later. That
superfluous
was
word.
later. He said
yes.
entrepreneurs, but we know the entrepreneurs. We know the
But
Kiambu.
entrepreneurs.
Xavier
Yes.
has been too silent. But I want to ask
He
him
needs to say something.
something that Derek says that it is something of the past. The way we are doing the stereotypes, is it in your belief, especially when you're doing stage plays, does it still hold water to actually use these stereotypes to derive a certain narrative?
Well, I I tend to go the opposite way. I would like I'd like to change that narrative personally. Like does humor have to come out through shrubbing? Like someone has to have an accent to be funny. You know, it doesn't have. It's just the art of writing and developing humor and seeing how it comes out. You know, so because it has reached a point, I don't know if you share the same, but I can sit and watch probably a TV show, and then there's this person who's like really having a Luya accent, huh? And this I saw during when I was back up country, and my dad was really disgusted, and I was like, kwani Waluya si tunazungumzaga hivi, wanafanya Waluya wanakaa watu wajinga sana, you know, because you're moving away from that. Kina Othorongongo, kina Ojwang exhausted that, yeah. But you see, still some people want to hold on to such a, because it has worked for somebody. I remember I approached a certain comedian and asked that he plays a role in a TV show that I'm trying to come up with, and I asked him. I gave him this character. He does this, but he's not that person he exudes during his performances, probably when he's acting or doing his stand-up comedies, because he uses an accent. That person was not very comfortable because already they believe they're only funny when they have that accent, you know. And as Derek puts it, stereotypes. Even nowadays, unajua, we just get into a place. Like I remember, I was with my friend. We were getting into a certain facility, and then he just said hi to the watchman in Kiluya. It was like Ovolauri, you know. And the Luya look, and the watchman was like, "Umesema nini?" You know, he didn't understand. So we were like, okay. So kumbe kuna Wakikuyu ni ma watchmen. You understand? Things are not the same. We are moving away from that, and probably as writers, as directors, we need to come out of that kakunu whereby we believe if we want to bring out humor, it just has to be with an accent.
Fair enough. Vicky, you want to take two more questions because I still have a few one for them, but I'll allow Madame to finally
Yeah,
bring
I
her
mean,
elephant in the room.
by the way, mambo ya elephant mtaacha. Nilisema tu once. No, but I mean, y'all still laugh at my jokes, and I don't necessarily have an accent, so I agree with that. But now we also have not an accent, or rather a tribal issue, but we also have a look issue. And I think this is one of the things that y'all are really, really trying to escape. But we say it as it is here. We also have a look issue, where, as I mentioned before, and y'all did not want to answer this, so today I'm putting you on the spot again. We have an issue where we have a pretty boy who is always the lead role. We have a pretty light skinned girl who's always the lead role. And then we have a funny girl who is dark skinned and looking like me. And she's the funny best friend to the lead role. What does this do to our industry in terms of casting, and what message does this also push forward in terms of people who are viewing your content and your scripts and your art? We start from Mr. Xavier, since Mr. Derek, I know akona some bonge zingine za points zenye zitatufanya to hey yeah. So and he also went first before. So Mr. Xavier, go on.
Well, I can say that is what is happening. It's true, and this is because I think we got this trend from the Mexican soap operas, whereby the people who act in these soap operas are usually models, and they're there for the sex appeal. And when you look at Mexico, even their news anchors, if you've watched I was curious and went and watched their content. They always for this. I don't want to use those funny words, yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. There's so many curves on screen, and those curves are on bodies, and you end up asking yourself, what is this that is being taken on screen to screen? And from that time when it was trending, that was back in early 2000s. Suddenly we came back to Kenya and we started adapting the same, yeah. And the adaptation was news anchors. It started with news anchors. We had very beautiful women going to read news. Okay, we started leaving out probably the elder ones or probably not so good looking. I remember there's a station that even had to fire somebody because she was overweight, that kind of thing. Now they are pushing things towards appeal. They wanted the sex symbol, if I may use that word, sex symbol. And this also goes to not just even in advertisement. You find that there's a woman with a bikini on a billboard advertising a lotion, and that lotion is very small. I probably won't even see it, So that is where it. I think that the rain started beating the industry, and it came to a point whereby it was now a norm whereby you go on. They start looking for announcing an audition. They'll always mention we want a light-skinned girl, especially on ladies. I remember even Derek did a play, and it kind of spoke of the same, whereby it was about the skin color, and that's why nowadays we have our girls pushing themselves, having themselves bleaching and all, because now they know if I'm light-skinned, I'll get more opportunities, and it's also going into the brains of everyone, and it's really sad. However, I have a friend who is very ugly, and this friend, we had gone for auditions, and he was picked even before auditioning. It was a movie that was being done. He was just picked from the line, and the person who was doing it was a white guy from the UK. Let me not mention the company. And he was like, I want that guy over there. And we were wondering, like, okay, why did they choose him? And it was about his looks. And I know, and he even knows himself that he's ugly. He's ugly with those big nose and a nini and a sura personal. Yeah. So, but when he came out, he already had a role. He was cast as a bad guy in that movie. You understand? So, I think it would be very easy to hate someone who is ugly. But I want to probably someone will change that narrative one day and bring an ugly guy to be the guy who wins the girl's heart in that show or a telenovela. Probably that is where we should be challenging ourselves and see if an actor can perform better than his looks. Can I do, as in I'm given lines and I'm given a role to do, can I hack it and not because of my looks? Because at the same time, I'm sorry to say so, you'll watch our shows and you'll find out that probably someone is beautiful, someone is very handsome, but their acting is away from what we can call acting, but it's there for the appeal.
Derek, sorry to jump in, but Derek, have you ever been casted because you are the most ugliest guy on set? And how did that make you feel? Were you happy that actually I won this position, or were you intimidated that somebody else thought you were uglier than the other?
But Derek is not ugly. I don't think he's ugly.
That's why I asked if he's been casted.
I was once casted because I was I was the darkest in the entire cast as a devil. And Xavier is the one who casted me.
What?
It wasn't for your look, it was your voice. It was your voice, not your looks.
I was casted as a devil in a play called Doomsday.
ER.
Not Doomsday. Yeah. We did it. I acted as a devil. But I did it until the devil looked beautiful. The play was scripted by Senator Cleophas Malala.
Xavier did not expect that. Xavier did not expect that. What?
You know, this is interesting, and may his soul rest in peace. There is one of the best actors that Kenya had on stage, and a great radio presenter. His name was Rhino.
He was in that play that I was acting as the devil.
Play, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I was acting as the devil. Xavier is the one who insisted that I should be the devil.
You know what I like about Derek? You know what I like about Derek? Derek is telling y'all made me act as the devil. You made me act as the devil. He's insisting on that point. And then he's also insisting on the point that Xavier is the one who made him act. So you guys know. Xavier made me act as a devil because I'm black.
But I made people fall in love with the devil, and it was all fun and we enjoyed it.
The whole point behind that was actually who makes or creates the film or the play and makes it go. Is it now the cast or actually the person acting the role? Xavier.
The person who's acting that role is the cast. Yeah. Probably, if I may just put it, but as I said before, it's about someone going for an audition, someone going to the closest imagination of what the writer or the director wants as per the script demands. Yeah. So if I'm a director and there is Victoria who is coming to audition as a princess, yeah, and then she hacks that part and she can actually do it. You know, like we've auditioned over 30 people and she's the closest. Ellie, stop. What I'll protect you. No worry. So
I'm just thinking Victoria is the princess or the queen, but it's okay.
Princess.
She's more a queen.
Yeah. Now, what happens is, as a director, it is now my role. Probably that person is not at 100%. Like we've just discussed, you'll get a director that wants someone probably beautiful, like light-skinned and all that. The people come and not fitting what he really wants. But finally, there's this person or this lady that comes to audition and fits that role. Yeah. Or I want a devil. And Derek comes and he's like, he has this huge voice. And I say, that is the voice I want. But Derek is still not ugly enough to be a devil. You understand? I have a responsibility as a director now. I can choose and say, I need him because of that voice that he has. And it will be now my responsibility with my makeup artist probably to make him look the way I want him with the horns and everything, you know. But at the end of the day, it is the director who pushes a character, a cast member, that actor that takes up the role. At times you can even end up fighting, or the actor can even think you hate him, yeah? But what your target is, he has to achieve what you imagined after reading that script, or as you are writing that script, what did you want out of this particular character, yeah? And that is like, that's why we say at times in the drama festivals, you push students so much to fit that role until they forget who they really are. They adapt this character so much that you have to now, after getting the character, there's something that was introduced to de-characterize, to now remind Derek, bro, you're not a devil. Because now devil, yeah, he acted and he convinced everyone that I don't know, he's walking in town, looking up. So you need to change that. You know, you have to de-characterize that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's majorly how the director pushes gives his best in terms of building a cast member to become what he wants.
Definitely, we're going to be discussing more of that as we come from the break. And in case you're joining us, this is Art in Heart. And the show on screen tonight, we are talking about film, rather art in film. And this final part of this mini-series, we're just looking at the roles that the cast and the directors play in really bringing to life the film and the play that is being set out to be exhibited for the audience. So, talking of being creative and funny at the same time, there's one man who is doing it more than ever. He's pushing it to the limits. Come to imagine that there could be actually an app that could fix you and fix your problems. How about we look at what Mwema did with this one?
Umewahi kulipa hongo, halafu ukaona hapa nimelipa nyingi. Na je, umewahi itisha za macho, halafu upate walishakuanika Facebook, itakuwaje? Basi habari maalum kutoka Hongo Industries wanakuletea app murwa kabisa ya Hongera, the bribe calculator. Hongera, the bribe calculator iko na uwezo wa kukutafutia mfisadi mwenzako aliyeko maeneo. Inakutafutia huduma kwa ofisi yoyote unayohitaji na inakuletea mfisadi atakayekusaidia kupata huduma bila kupiga line wala kungoja. Hongera imetengenezwa na wataalamu waliohitimu kufanya ufisadi kutoka ofisi mbalimbali. Hongera, ubaya wa kora. Hongo Industries, tule pamoja.
This specifically can be a tourist attraction.
Hii kimila ni ngumu sana.
Kuacha kimila.
It's very mysterious.
It's not safe.
There's no science.
For me, I don't trust them.
Hizi kusikia uchungu.
Siwezi.
Yes, we are back. My name is Likuyani Eli, and the beautiful lady on the other side of the screen
is Victoria Nkatha,
the queen of Art in Heart. Welcome, my queen. Let me tell you this, my queen. You, beloved, together, hand in hand, we shall make an empire.
Ellie, this reminds me of this movie, which is very, very actually historic for most of us, Coming to America. And you know how they sing, "She's your queen to be." That just reminded me of that. But anyhow, that's also,
you know, that's what Xavier will actually do on stage. On the other hand, Derek will come and just say, "Hello, my queen. I would love to make you the princess and not the queen."
No, that is what Xavier did. But Xavier made me a princess and not a queen, as in surely.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to understand. So, the language here, it's how then do you transpose from theater and on screen? Because we know so many people that come from high school, and then when they're being casted to be on screen, they are told whatever they have and all the papers are useless. Really, Xavier Nato, why did you make us, and when I mean us, I mean all those creatives that have been there, work so hard to say, nitakushika, nikukatekate, nikumalize na twende.
Na kwanza
And
na
then-
hizo moja zinakaanga hivi. Hey. Oh, Derek. Derek. Oh, Derek.
Xavier, Mr. Nato, where the difference between screen and theater, or rather stage and screen? Kindly give us the screen part and let's have, rather the stage part, and let's have Derek come in and give us the other side that most of these young people that want to become actors have to pay attention to. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, I believe what you're talking about is delivery. And when you look at delivery, in theater, or probably in the drama festivals, the platform the actor is given is a very big space. You're given a hall that is like meters long, and you have to deliver without microphones. Yeah, and I think the exaggeration came in, especially when people like the likes of Murungu, the likes of Oliver Minishi started coming up with different kinds of acting styles, yeah, to build up their performance, because there's shouting, then there is a projection. Okay, so when the projection is being done, you'll find that someone has to exaggerate gestures, they have to exaggerate movement, they exaggerate their facial expressions, and unlike screen, whereby screen is mostly about realism, how I'm talking right now, and probably that is how I'll talk when I'm on screen, because we're talking about reality. Whereas when you look at stage, if I'm acting like I can put someone to be a 90-year-old, but it's a 40-year or a 30-year-old who has makeup done, and at that point they're trying to imitate. So imitation also comes with exaggeration. Yeah, but though I won't be the one to tell my cast member, like, someone's supposed to be telling someone I love you, but like, Victoria, I love you, I'm sure that girl, by the time you reach that girl won't be there, because if someone is so violent while saying I love you, you end up and kind of being scared. But you see, it is a way probably to elicit humor, or someone just wants to be out of this world in terms of in delivery. And I'm sure Derek will talk about how it is done on screen, because like when you're doing screen, there are microphones all over and everything. So I'll also want to mention that in professional theater, for instance, when you go to the Kenya National Theater, yeah, the stage is usually mic'd, and you'll find that your actors at the professional stage will not overact or will not have to shout. They can even whisper on stage, and you can be heard because of the ambience that has been created and the technology that is being used in that particular arena. So it doesn't really go with the style. It is not a must for you to. Someone mentioned about my gap.
I knew that is what's confused it. So you guys are confusing this man. Please, do you know he's being casted for some of the roles that he has because of his tooth gap? Why, Munacheza? Yeah. There's some people that say you have to have a tooth gap.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, when we're talking about stage delivery or screen delivery, that's where they vary. They will not be the same. Theater is more exaggerated. And a screen, I'm sure Derek will talk more about it. It's more about the composure of someone on screen.
You know why I'm laughing? Xavier, there are some people who are going to cast you for roles of their men in their life because him Tabesema, he's too cute. I beg. Allah,
Oh,
Xavier. Xavier, Xavier, you're about to be casted for a certain role. Derek, do you have a shachoka? Derek, amechoka na nyinyi.
there is a king when it comes to facial expressions.
I know, I love it. I really, really love it. And that's also one of the things that are looked at when he probably will go somewhere and he has to act. Those facial expressions are gonna support him and are gonna help him a lot. Now we go into the whole we go into that whole discussion of this facial expressions and what is expected of cast members and what do you guys do? You mentioned something about the aspect of somebody not being too available. Now I know that there are also cast members, or rather the roles, and then there are the understudies, right? So, in a situation where an individual is not available, how often do you get to a situation where you have to use the understudy? And let's say, for instance, people who die in roles, or other people who, happen to have a situation and then they can't come back to the roles, or rather to the sets. How easy is it to transition into the understudy? For instance, a great example would be Selena, the role that this guy, can't remember his name, but he got ill and then he sadly died, so may his soul rest in peace. And I know his position has been filled actually twice. So where Lenana came in and then Lenana also had to leave and then someone else came in. So how are these transitions, and can you please explain how these go on?
Well, it's dependent on a specific kind of roles. There are specific reasons also that necessitate a replacement. There are roles that are replaced when you're actually even available on set because of underperformance and probably poor cooperation with the production team.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other adverse reasons that somebody would have to be replaced. Probably you are traveling out of the country and you're not available to shoot and continue working with them. Or maybe you fell ill, as you've given the example, and you unfortunately pass on. So you'll have to be replaced, because what we said in theatre and film is the show must go on, whether you are there or not. So the show has to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to look for a perfect replacement that will not necessarily have the audience noticing that probably there was maybe a lapse, or maybe the show has now depreciated in terms of performance. So the casting directors and the producers go into a talent search or a hunt. They may look for somebody close to you, probably somebody with looks that are almost near to you. In more professional fields, you'll find that there are people who will go to the extremes of creating masks that actually resemble the previous actor that is leaving, so that whoever is replacing them is actually just a mock of what is coming back. But in our situation in Kenya, where we are not techno-savvy to that level, you find that they do a replacement of you, and they would probably just pass an advert to the audience and say that from now henceforth, this and this character will be replacing this one, and life goes on, and you go wherever you're going, and life will move on. That is how basic it is. It's just like any other job. For instance, if a class teacher, standard 8B dies, you would expect that another teacher will come through and replace that teacher, and the students will continue learning. That is the exact same thing that happens in the arts. Even in theater, should you fail to show up, and sadly, or maybe to an advantage, you find that most people come and replace get breakthroughs through such kind of replacements. You find that there are people with testimonials like Jalango who tell you that if this person will not have failed to turn up, I will not be who I am today. And it's just perfect life. It's just life moves on, and it's just like that. And probably something I would have wanted to also add when in casting, where somebody spoke, you spoke about light skin and dark skin and any other thing. The actual reality is the audience is a consumer. If you look at it from that angle, you may not have any other problem. The audience is a consumer. At no point will you leave your house, go to the market, and purchase withered kales. You will always want fresh. You will always want to associate with good things. You will always want to feel beautiful. You will always want to get the best. The eye reflects the mind, and the mind reflects the satisfaction of the soul. That is why TV is for beautiful people. These other narratives people are saying, oh, it is unfortunate that they are casting light skin and what have you. Those are just wishes. The actual reality is TV is for beautiful people. And that is a school of thought that if we agree with, we will live a very peaceful and harmonious life. TV is for beautiful people. If you are not beautiful, don't go behind the camera. Hide. Because
what are you telling me?
Audience, I'm telling you the truth.
Is that why we are not having enough viewership? Are we that ugly?
Probably. Probably. I'm giving you an example, and I'm not saying that beautiful is light skin. Beautiful is not light skin. Beautiful is a sense of appeal that is attractive to the audience. And it does not cut across any other level. It cuts across appeal. Are you able to attract to me? Are you able to please me when I'm watching? I'm not misleading. There is actual truth that we want to hide from people saying, oh, there's dark skin or what. The actual reality is any other audience would want to see something nice. Any other consumer would want to associate themselves with something that they like, that they want to feel close to. And that is a reality. If you don't feel close to it, there are other talents that you can be able to attach yourself to and succeed. But the bottom line is the school of thought. TV is for beautiful people. If you want to do tragedy, it's fine. But when it comes to screen, that is why you find the men running from office, driving home to just go and watch news. They want to see something nice on their screen, you know. They want to see Victoria Rubadiri. They want to see, you know, beautiful before they sleep.
Victoria and Kata, you forgot that part. It was
Victoria and Kata, Rubadiri, yes, and the rest. Nobody should tell you that you have injuries, you have cuts and scars here, and you are going for auditions to act as a model. You will fail. That is the actual truth.
Interesting that you mentioned that. I'm sorry to catch you, sir, but NATO, then do we have makeup artists doing the miracle? Because I know some people have different faces in natural appearance, but once they have the moja, it's something different. NATO. But before you answer that, let's just see what NATO is up to.
Pathetic.
Yeah. True, I know it's really pathetic.
No, Vincent, you are pathetic.
Karen.
Wacha kunitaja. Are you telling me that we are broke?
Karen, you need to chill, sawa?
Ati chill. Are you... What the hell is
Karen,
this, Vincent?
mtoi amelala.
To hell, na mtoi Vini. What is this? Are you serious?
Karen said nijifuta job. Nilifutwa as in they were actually laying off people at work. I'm just a victim.
It's not even that, Vinny. You're telling me we have no savings, nothing whatsoever.
Karen, you know very well ni wale ma Nigeria walinigonga my savings.
Noko hapa unaongea story ya watu wa Nigeria kama mtoto wa university pale Roysambu. Aren't you even ashamed of yourself, Vincent?
Karen.
Please, endo kalale sitting room. Sizi kaa hapa na gavana Ushinzi county tunaambia nani. Get out. Vincent, get out. Stupid man.
Seriously, Karen.
Yes. Vincent, are you stupid? Out, tafadhali. Please.
Vincent.
Niko na swali. I just have
Please,
swali tu moja. Xavier, aka Vincent, unaweza toa kofia kidogo tafadhali?
Hiyo ni ya kuact bwana, sio yake natural. He had to do that for the script. But I hope, Victoria, your question has been answered because that was straightforward. Vincent, or aka Nato, does makeup work miracles?
Yeah. Actually, Saizi, we're talking about transformation, whereby, like, about when someone wants a light-skinned person and you get a dark-skinned person who's like a really good actor, makeup comes in handy. And we are talking about just improving how people look like. There are people you'd see on TV and you'd be like, wow, but when you come to real life, they're not how they look like. Yeah. So makeup does play a role a lot. Alafu when it comes to things like injuries, or you want to create effects probably to make someone look older. So makeup does play its role.
We have a viewer that needs to decide on what they want, because you're hearing everybody decide. Is it anywho? Moving forward, the screen is doing its work now. Mr. Derek, now how does makeup come into play when it comes to revealing some of the things that you want to do? Now, you talked about, being a devil, but we also see in some places where, for instance, take injuries and fights, or making people look horrible and so on and so forth. How does that really affect the whole meaning of what you're doing, and how does lack thereof also affect how your script is being, or rather your production is being taken? Because I know a lot of people do not focus a lot on this.
makeup is enhancement, generally meant to boost specifically appearance and create highlights on specific points that are of interest. In theater and in film, makeup is specifically not used for beauty. Makeup is just to create specific highlights on general points that are meant to be highlighted. For instance, if you have an injury, or maybe a bullet wound, you use makeup to show that in actual truth. For instance, you're rusty and worn out, you can enhance it using makeup. But for beauty, makeup in film is generally not for beauty. It's just the instances where makeup is used to just highlight a few instances whereby there is a lot of shining, and to reduce that. And probably there are scenarios you would want somebody to really look pop and really amazing in terms of look, then that can be used. But generally, makeup is not meant to beautify anyone in film. Makeup is meant to highlight specific spots that need to be seen. You know, it's like when you do makeup, there is a particular element of film that has a fine ending tune to it, rather than the makeup that is done for TikTok and Instagram. Those are totally two different kinds of makeup. However,
najua TikTok.
yes, mi TikTok ni kitu bwana. Mi najua bwana. TikTok, Instagram, yote. So
Are you on TikTok?
No, that's for children.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I should grow up.
Yeah, TikTok is
Derek
for
can
children.
say
Ellie
let's
is disturbing us on TikTok. But before even we go to
Ellie's on TikTok.
No, I did it for commercial purposes.
Ellie is
But
on
it's not
TikTok,
earning me any money.
dancing on TikTok. He's dancing on
Things
TikTok.
done for passion and are not commercialized, are for people under 28. And it is, but it's fine. It's for fun also. You know, recreation. Recreation is part of life.
Let me tell you, Ellie is making parties and dancing on TikTok. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Then comment,
like that.
you know.
Just
yeah,
like
but
that.
generally,
leave out the TikTok, Vicky, for a moment.
Before we go into that, there's a question that I want to just quickly go back to in terms of cast replacement. Now, one of the things that we know that the people who are not main leads on productions are usually easier to replace. Now, think about somebody like Selena, and I keep on referring to Selena because it's one of those Kenyan productions that I've really taken my time to really go into. Comments salama. They keep confusing me.
Huyu jamaa kona planted audience bwana.
Salama's comments.
They have been hired.
I keep
planted audience bwana.
But
okay, Vicky, go ahead.
Ona venye na smile, you see the way smiling. But anywho, in terms of Derek, Mr. Derek. So Derek, in terms of like Selena, for instance, now we know Selena and the image that Selena has created and who Selena is, and the whole show is Selena oriented. Now, how do you replace such a character? Or do you? Somebody in the comments mentioned something about if an actor needs to be replaced, sometimes it kills the show. How do you deal with this, especially with such lead characters? We saw this from Paul Walker in Hollywood with the Fast and Furious production, for instance. So how do you deal with such situations?
You may need to look at somebody who's almost has the same semblance. Somebody who has been following the show and very keenly attentive to the show, and also almost to those looks and character-wise. For a lead role to be replaced, it actually has a very direct impact on the show. I remember I was in a show called Governor, and the real lead role was replaced.
Yes, the lead role
the
was
main
replaced.
governor, and it completely finished the show. We were on Twitter. It was a battle. I don't know if somebody was hired, but it was always war after war. In as much as this other guy was trying, the show had to end because it was always complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint. Generally, it's just that challenging. However, there are instances where, like Spartacus, the main guy died, or I don't know, he left, and he was replaced. And the show went on as if, and you will really need to be very keen to notice that guy was replaced. So, you know, there are instances where you look at a lookalike, then you try and make them as close as possible to the main character, and then the show will go on. There are trainings that are undertaken, you know, because these are people who are housed in a particular production for like 6 months. So by the time a character is replaced, you know, this other one has really watched in between whatever the other was doing, and they can be able to replace them perfectly. But there are also those kienyeji kind of replacements. Unafutwa tu kama mtu wa mjengo, unaambiwa ba kesho usikuje. Enda bwana. Tukujui, and then it is like that and you are done. Na hakuna kitu utafanya, kwani wewe ni Senate minority. Utakwenda tu na ukae.
You know what, Derek, we will not be Kenyeji. I want us to take a very quick break, and when we come back, I really need you to tell us, where does the money come from? Because both of you have been in the industry for too long, and does this industry actually pay, or do you people make a living out of it? Ama tuko mshwari, same WhatsApp group. And for everybody in Germany or around Europe and you love to visit Germany, there is a barbecue summer happening there. So go to Facebook, find out My Ethnic Kitchen. They are doing an amazing job. Here's a look. Indeed, you head on Facebook, the handle is My Ethnic Cooking, and find out what Jill has in store for you. The charges are only 90 euros, and you know what? This is worth it. The summer grilling happening in Germany. Okay, gentlemen, and the only fair lady on stage, does acting give us money, and can actors in Kenya actually earn salaries from their art? Xavier.
Yes and no. And I'll be very specific to why yes and why no. Yes, in terms of I have been in productions. I'm talking about personal experience that have really changed my life one way or another in terms of getting some payment. I remember, for instance, when we were the pioneer cast for Tahiti High, and when Tahiti High started, we usually got paid 700 shillings per episode. Yeah, I remember we used to eat in a kibanda because Tahiti did not have, at that point, actually, they used to, from what we were told, our salaries were received from Radio Citizen, because Radio Citizen at that time was at least making some money. Citizen TV at that point had not really made way in terms of audience and all. I remember their news, for instance, used to come an hour after all other media stations have broadcasted their news, yeah, so that they probably get somebody to some audience. So that's how they grew. And as we went on, it became to a point whereby if you are in a situation, it was a classroom, yeah. So you're being given 700 shillings per episode, but if you have lines, you get 1,200 shillings per episode, yeah. And now, slowly by slowly, Tahiti High started gaining popularity. Okay, uba hapo ndio mali sasa tulikuwa tumeanza kuzeeka, and we were even older than our teachers, and now we had to be laid off. And when we left Tahiti High, it was actually at that point whereby I remember it was Always that had come in as a sponsor. And when they had come in, that's when the likes of Abel Mutua, they came in. Now you see the program was popular. And Abel, they know that is OJ. They used to tell us what they are earning. And we're like, wait a minute. Oh, you mean You can actually do this as in because
do you mind just giving a rough figure without pointing? How much were this new cast earning roughly?
okay, I can remember when we were asking at that point, someone was being given 20K per episode. And there's someone someone had a really high salary of 40K per episode, and that is a difference of a month after we left. Sorry?
This was also one of the conversations that came up with current issues that are going on, which is one thing that I'd also want to dig deeper into. But yes, there are some concerns about how much money people are earning and where all this money had gone to. But go on.
Okay, so I'll move on to my second can I say my second gig in terms of TV production? It was Wash and Set, and when I joined Wash and Set, that is 2009. We were being paid. We started with 7,000 per episode. So I came into a life of shock. Like, okay, guys get this amount of money. Then there was a time we started moving on. Then we started being paid 10,000 shillings per episode. Yeah. As we went on, now we started knowing about these other productions. You'd hear like guys that are in Makutano Junction, they're being paid as much as 50,000 per episode. And you're like, okay, what is happening? But then you're told Makutano Junction has all these sponsors from the UNDP, they have sponsors at USAID, all these NGOs, because I don't know how they approach them. But you'd find guys in Makutano Junction who are really paid well. And coming to the current times now, there are people who actually live on acting as a way of life. And they live so comfortably. They get their salaries. We have actors who are paid as high as 150,000 per month. And this one I can attest, but I'll be allowed not to mention. But I know people who are living comfortably. Right now, they're receiving salaries. And on top of that, for instance, if some of these actors who are really making it out there and have a big name, they get endorsements from other companies. Probably if Ellie, you're in my show and you're popular, you become our face for my company. Yeah, like Black Lion, I want Ellie now. We'll be paying you to post stuff about us, So, yes, that's the part I can say.
I
yes.
love the idea.
Yes. Now, moving on. Yeah. We'll talk about it on the sidebar. Moving on, we have actors in this country that have been there for a very long time, and it's really sad. If you try and trace their steps back, they've really not made it. Probably they get gigs here and there, 12,000 wamefanya show mahali, they go for road shows and stuff. They get these TV shows, you can bahati mbaya, but there are people who really cannot live acting on TV, and they end up now stepping out, like they drop performing arts as a whole to go and pursue other careers that they've done before. For example, I'm really contemplating going back to what I studied in college, but I really want to be true to the art. Yeah. So yes, at times it pays, at times it becomes a bit difficult. It depends with how the tide takes you in the industry.
Thank you, Xavier, for that. And Derek,
yes.
Xavier mentions important matters about the money and how they come to play a role in everything. In one of our sittings, in one of the shows we had, there's one thing that stood out, and the story was, listen in.
If people are actually having mental instability, there's a lot of cases of depression, a lot of cases of suicide. We are supposed to speak about it. We are supposed to talk. We're supposed to create debates online and even out of social media with people and ask them, how can we deal with this? Yeah, because I think artists are the most depressed people, if you ask me. And I say this because I am an example myself. Yeah. But if we have these platforms, you realize that if I'm talking to you like right now, it is therapy for me.
Do you think artists are the most depressed people on planet Earth, despite them being the entertainers? And is money a factor linked to it?
Yes. That is quite true. It's quite true and very unfortunate. Comedians are the most saddest, for that matter. And when you make somebody laugh, it is very hard and a tall order for any other person to make you laugh. So that leaves you with more emptiness because you are constantly thinking of the other person, how to make them happy, how to make them entertained, how to, but nobody's thinking about you. You realize that it's very hard for these artists to go to concerts for their own entertainment. Unless they are going there for appearances, you would find that it's quite tricky for them to create time for themselves because all the time they are thinking about their next move. And the main reason is this. The artistic culmination of our Kenyan nature is artists live quite lonely lives. And I've seen somebody has written that artists live lonely lives because there is too much expectation from the audience. When somebody watches you on TV, they expect you to be the replica of what they have seen, not expecting that you are actually under a script or you are under instruction to do this and that. So if you act as a rich person on telly, most probably a lot of people will think you are very rich in real life, which is not actually true. And that is the main challenge. So when you find that you are not having a manager or somebody to educate you about finances, you find that you are actually living a life that you are not supposed to live, or you're trying to live a life that you cannot afford. And that ends up making you pocket free. You don't have anything to spend because you are living what people are expecting you to live, are not living what you actually are supposed to live. And it is quite, for instance, Xavier has said that there are instances where actors are paid 20,000 per month per episode. That means that is 80,000 per month. A startup salary for a teacher probably is 40,000. This is, for a teacher, is half what the artist is making. But you see, the artist is probably going on set once a week or twice. They have the other 6 days to spend that money. They have all the time in their hands. They have all the energy and all the ideas. So 90% of the time, if they don't have proper management, you find that this money does not actually end up even in the bank, does not end up in savings, or does not end up in investments. It is actually spent as it comes. Every time it comes, it is spent. Every time it comes, it is spent in lifestyle, in tours, in things that are not actually promoting your financial capacities as a human being. At the end of the day, you find that this teacher who is earning half what the artist is getting has been able, for instance, to take a mortgage and build a house and maybe do an investment, and the artist is still living hand to mouth. So ultimately, you find that such a profession is not predictable. You would wake up and there's a downsize. From telly to zero, what do? That is the first step. You go into depression. There's a lot of expectation from the landlords, from the neighbors, from everyone who knows you. So if you can't sustain such kind of a lifestyle, you end up just being depressed. And that is it. There is no other two-way traffic. So apart from the education bit of it, where we need to train people on financial management, there is that element of too much available time, which actually consumes finances for these artists. And that element of living a lie. When you live a lie, you would want maybe people to think that you are too huge, yet you are not. I mean, the truth has to be told. Artists are not too big. Just one simple disease in Kenya for any artist, and you find them doing a contribution. Reason is they are not too big. It's something people need to tell them. Financial management should be taught at every level of education, from primary to high school to university. If we don't have that, every other person who has no constant income will always be depressed. And this element of artists are the only ones being depressed. That is not true. Many people are being depressed. It's just that the artists in the public limelight. So when they're depressed, it is the first person you'll get to know about. But these other people are getting depressed. People in hotel tours, travels, and everywhere, they're being depressed. They're committing suicide. Nobody cares. Nobody knows them. So nobody talks about them. It is just that the artist is in the public light. The artist is being seen on TV. The artist is being has 500 comments on Facebook. So when something happens, it looks so huge. But that is the actual truth to every other profession. Bankers are depressed. Teachers are depressed. Police officers, you've seen, they are depressed. Some are committing suicide. Some are doing everything. It is just that the artists are in the public limelight, just like the politicians. So when anything happens, the news spirals and goes. And that is it. So it's not about artists are depressed or whatever. It is about everyone is depressed, and people need to be taught about financial management and how to get to manage however little you have and live a comfortable life without pleasing everyone. That is it.
Great. And Xavier, just to bring you on, what would you say would be the best approach in regard to helping people not live their fake lifestyle and come back to reality? Just switch from the screen life to the real life, basically.
Okay. What Derek has said is really touching, yeah. Especially, let me pick it from when he says like an artist is already in the limelight. Like Omo should go on Facebook and say that he's broke. Though Omosh pia ameanza kutupa mbao, if it's true what he's doing amekuwa kitrend. But as artists, one, we do not have like a constant salary. I would give an example of I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries, but let me assume like Maria, the show Maria. The show Maria was one of the most successful shows in the country for a while, yeah? And it went off air, like it came to an end, yeah? Were those actors educated about saving, investing, that kind of thing? And probably I'm one of those people. I can't say that I think I'm one of those people who are not very responsible. I'll admit it today. When it came to when I used to earn, you go there, do an advert for like 100,000, 200,000. You're paid even as much as 400,000. What do you do with your money? You just go pay rent, umefanya nini. But you see, again, what it comes, I'm not playing the devil's advocate. But artists, unapata mtu hana job for like 3 months. And those 3 months meaning he hasn't paid rent. So you get a gig, you go do an advert, and you get paid 200,000 shillings. All that money is going to pay your debts. Yeah. And that probably becomes a barrier in terms of your personal development. And that's where I'll take it from where Derek said, like investment, as in what you do with your money. It's about time. As artists, we started getting managers for ourselves. I'm in the process of working with a manager personally, who can help me in terms of my financial maturity, if I may put it that way. Probably I'm 40 today, but I'm thinking like a 20-year-old when it comes to how I'm going to spend my money. I'll take an example whereby I learned about what Sauti Sol does. Sauti Sol go do concerts and all. They make probably, let's give an example, $1 million bob. Naturally, guys will be like, okay, which kwa 250, ako 250 tumegawana, everyone has their share. But no, that's not what they do. Sauti Sol is a company. They get salaries. The artists get salary from what they have. They have already this account that is a company account. If you want a car, the company will help you get a car. So such things like Sauti Sol is doing it really professional. And if we could have people like Sauti Sol coming out, people like Jalango coming out and probably just taking artists through that process. For instance, I'm a student of Jalango in terms of financial management, in terms of how I'm supposed to do my thing. Jalango will tell you, okay, you are a creative, you can create. What do you do? Have you ever taken unangoja tu ku act? Can you create your own stuff? Because you're a writer. If you can write, it means. So I'm like, no, I don't have money to buy cameras and smart. That's your problem. It's not my problem. You go create the next thing. Look for a camera. Look for friends who can help you purchase one or two things. Get a loan. Go and buy those things. That is business, So assuming my production or probably the things I'm doing take off, I can still go on and do my acting, but I know there's a project I'm doing and it is bringing money, and that money comes in. I have to again have this personal discipline whereby I need to work and see how I'm going to ensure that I do not misuse this particular money. And I think that is where most of us artists go wrong. Yeah, we party a lot and we like showing off. Yeah, we need to show people that we're doing this. I'll take an example by someone was talking about some comedians who, when they go for their show, they need to hire expensive cars. Then you're shocked that when they go there after performance, they're paid like 3,000, and they've hired a car for like 10,000. There are 4 of them or 3 of them. So the money that they've been paid is not even enough to sustain their transportation. You understand? So your discipline ndio tunakuwa nayo, kuna ile level ya kujinyima. Yeah. Like right now, even my manager is here. He's doing other stuff. So you need those people who have that business mind. They know how to act. They know when you need money, when you do this and this and that, they can direct you this way. So that because like I can say this COVID period, I'm someone who can do a pitch very well. I can do a proposal for a TV station to go and pitch my show. I'm in a learning process. Yeah. So that's one thing. And I also try to mentor the people that I'm working with and teach them the little that I know as they grow, probably not to make the same mistakes that I made. And it's just by the grace of God that I didn't go down that way. I had my own fall when I had my own period of depression as an actor, you understand? But again, when you look at the position you're in, you can't blame anyone but yourself. So I think it's as we move to become veterans, hopefully soon we'll be called veterans. Yeah, if we are going to get there, I think we have that responsibility because of so many people coming behind us, learning from us. If they make the same mistakes, then we have failed because the actors who are before us failed us.
Thank you. Vicky, can I? Yeah, we're really running out of time. We have 7 minutes to the end of the cast. And gentlemen, this is your moment. I know you have been working with a lot of projects behind the scenes that you've been realizing and making sure they come to life. I will start with you, Derek, because I'm assuming you're having some technical hitches on your end before it cools down on you. You recently brought us Black Tax, and I'm more than glad to announce that it actually scooped the top prize. Well done to you, sir. And you're currently working with it and screening something else. Tell us about that and how has this affected your creativity as a director and an actor?
Thank you so much for the congratulations message, and it came at an opportune time, and I'm really happy, not just for myself but for the entire team, that we could put up something within a day, and we are able to film it, and we are able to edit. That is work that was done in 24 hours, actually, from scripting up to editing and submission, because it was a deadline date. And we have learned several things around it in terms of production also, and pushing also. But away from that, I would really love to applaud Kenya Film Commission for the opportunities that they are granting filmmakers in terms of every opportunity they give a filmmaker to showcase their craft, and they're able to appreciate them however, with a small token. There is something that is currently just ended today called the county real film screening, whereby they were checking out for films, documentaries, short films, and animations from every county. And I was also happy to have been selected among the people who did documentaries. I'd done a documentary in Bungoma County regards to the origin of Kimi Sambo. And it was showcased yesterday. It had a massive response, and I really appreciate that. Away from that, what I would maybe tell a filmmaker is don't stop producing. Don't stop at any point, because I tend to believe the more you produce, the more you sharpen your skills. The more you do, the more you learn one and two things. There are things that I've learned from every stage of production that I will not have learned if I will not have attempted. So before you criticize, you would really be keen to ask yourself, what have you done, so that we can be able to know and maybe learn from also you, because production is a learning point, and every time you do a production, you are able to know these are weaknesses, these are strength. You maximize on the strength, and then you try and evade the weaknesses. Every producer, if you want a progressive production life, you just keep producing. And for whatever reason, I really never expected that a documentary I did while back in school would actually screen in 2020 on a national platform. So it was a pleasure to me, and I'm really honored for that opportunity, and also for the opportunity to be on this platform and discuss matters of film and things that I'm passionate about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, you can always head back to YouTube. You will just search the word black tax, and the man there himself will be able to show you what he's capable of. And the Kimi Sambwa, rather the origin of Kimi Sambwa, is right.
This specifically can be a tourist attraction.
Hii kimila ni ngumu sana.
Kuacha kimila is very mysterious.
It's not safe.
There's no science.
For me, I don't trust them.
Mimi kusikia uchungu.
Siwezi.
Definitely. I hope, Mr. Waswa, you can direct us where we can watch the final production you did, and share that with us in the link. Xavier, on the other hand, you are currently working on a project, a web series. Kindly take us through and what it entails.
As I had mentioned before, after Corona hit, we had to shut down Miller's Productions Kenya because of we could not because of the regulations that were given by government. And I have a number of youth who are really depending on our shows to get one or two things for themselves. So the quickest thing we could think of is going to TV, where we've done a couple of productions and trying to sell them to people, probably stations, and to see if we can get something out of it. So what we're doing right now is a project called Liars. Liars is a mini series that we'd like to put online, and probably just showcase what we have to the people, and probably attract a number of people, because if Muhammad cannot get to the mountains, no, it's the other way around. If the mountains don't go to Muhammad, Muhammad has to go to the mountains. So if the audience is not coming to us, let us try and move to where the audience are, and that is social media. Let's see if we can make an impression there and share our talents. And I know someone will ask about the money and everything, but I'm sure once we get our base stable, at some point we are going to be okay. So we're just trying to go hard on everything that we're doing.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Xavier. And with that said, I think that this is very, very important to note. And also do not forget to visit all the shows. We've been running a series. And also, we would love, from my end, I would love to say thank you so much for joining us throughout the season. It has been one great one. It has been amazing. And for those who don't know yet or are not yet aware, Art in Heart Friday shows will be completing the first season and the first shows next week, where we'll be completing it with a worship experience. It'll be very, very special. So you're going to see me next week on Friday. We're going to be discussing, we're going to be thanking God also for the season that has been there. And I would really love you to join us next week and be with us as we are thanking God, as we are worshiping, and as we are thanking God for all that we've been through. It has been an amazing season filled with so many episodes, and you want to go on and watch this. Remember that we are the Arts in Hearts, and we are nothing without our guests. We are nothing without our fans and our watchers. It's not even fans, it's family. We have people who are very, very loyal and have been loyal since day one. And for that, we're very, very grateful. So thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for always even making our guests feel at home. And part of them are even part of the family, completely immersed inside. If you see Kina Derek here 3 times in a row, it's not in vain, and it's not as a joke. It's because
please say hi to Salama.
Please, Salama, umesalimiwa. So the DMs are open. I think, I don't know, but anywho, you can DM and find out. But without even hesitating, my name is Victoria Nkatha. This is Arts in Heart, so you can find us on the Arts in Heart on YouTube and on Facebook. You can drop an email at theartsinheart@gmail.com, where, if anything, we'll be able to respond to your message. And if there's anything that you'd like for us to do for you professionally, we are at your service. Now, a lot of great things are about to come on season 2, and you'll be seeing a lot of new faces and a lot of new projects, and there's so much that is in store, and you do not want to miss it. Now, join us next week, join us tomorrow as well on the Family Edition, and join us on Sunday as well with Against All Odds. Now, with that said, my name is Victoria Nkatha, co-hosted by the lovely Mr. Eli Likuyani, and with our beautiful, beautiful and handsome guests who are making our family out there die because of their handsomeness, Mr. Derek Osa and Mr. Xavier Nato. We are joined by them this week, who have also joined us the whole month, actually. And follow them on their social media accounts so that you cannot miss out on their work. Follow us on our social media accounts, and also #Responding to Life and Art in Heart. With that said, I would love to wish you an amazing evening, an amazing day, morning, wherever you are. Be blessed. Take good care of yourself. Remember, COVID is still very, very real, so stay safe. Sanitize, or like other people would say, santinize, and wear your masks wherever you are, and keep that social distance. Now, kama umenda Naivasha, make sure that you understand that STDs are very, very real. So protect yourself in Naivasha. Protect yourself in Naivasha. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on show. And yes, tomorrow join us on the Family Edition. And tomorrow, it's not just any type of Family Edition. It is the Art in Heart Family Edition, where we'll be screening Victoria Nkatha, Likuyani Eli, and Freedom Buku on Sunday. You will be having the man you've been demanding for, Xavier Jerry Nato, on Against All Odds. See you then. Have a lovely night. My name is Likuyani Eli, and I'm out. Good night.
Ulitizama kitanda changu kimejaa kunguni, godoro inchi mbili, ukasema wanipenda. Simu yangu masekete, nguo zangu matambara, viatu vilivyochapishwa viraka, ukasema wanipenda kutoka ndani ya roho. Tulipoenda bafuni nawe, sabuni ya kipande, uzini wa gunia, ukasema ujali, fanaka utoka kwa Mola. Sasa iweje leo hii nasikia fununu toka kwa rafiki zako kuwa wanipa talaka. Sasa iweje leo hii hadithi za kuaminika zaniambia mapenzi haya yamekuchosha. Sasa iweje leo hii naambiwa wasema umasikini wangu wewe umekuchosha. Ninachoomba baby, nipende nilivyo. Baby nipende nilivyo. Zawadi ya fanaka hiyo kutoka kwa Mola, mafanikio kutoka kwa Mola. Baby yeah, baby yeah. Ninachoomba mimi nipende nilivyo. Baby nipende nilivyo. Zawadi ya fanaka hiyo kutoka kwa Mola, mafanikio kutoka kwa Mola. Baby, baby yeah, baby yeah. Oh. Sipendelei nikikuona watembea miguu wakati wenzio wako kwenye magari ya kifahari. Oh baby, mimi sipendelei. Unapokula sukuma siku 7 za wiki wakati wenzio wanajiburudisha na minofu kwenye mahoteli pia sipendelei. Ninakiri ni uwezo sina, nipende nilivyo. Baby nipende nilivyo. Eshuji zawadi ya fanaka hiyo toka kwa Mola, mafanikio toka kwa Mola. Baby, 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 ninachoomba nipende nilivyo. Baby nipende mimi nilivyo. Zawadi ya fanaka hiyo kutoka kwa Mola, mafanikio toka kwa Mola. Baby, 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 ninachoomba